Hello, everyone. It's 9:30. I know I said I was going to go live at 9, but I had to change it because I was running behind a little bit. I'm Julia Dunaway. I'm a chef, and I've been doing daily cooking demos. I'm checking my sound. Yes, it's working. I've been doing daily cooking demos since last Friday to talk about the Vegan Health Bundle, which is out now, and it ends Monday. So be sure and grab it while we still have it out because once it's gone forever. And a lot of times people will say that they really wanted it and they didn't realize there was an expiration date that we would stop having it. So then they're disappointed when it's no longer available. Hi, Christy. You guys caught me. I'm still eating my breakfast. I have sourdough, my whole wheat sourdough toast with some almond butter on it. I'll show you my almond butter. I get this, this is maple, well, this is actually peanut and pecan butter. So this is from Big Spoon Roasters. I have a lot of their stuff. So has anyone ever tried Big Spoon Roasters nut butters? They sell them. Come here, honey. What's the matter? What you crying about? Toshi's over there crying. They sell them at the gourmet grocery store that I shop at called Central Market. But I think they have them in other places too. So look around Big Spoon Roasters. They also have, this is my favorite one is called Pistachio Crunch Almond Butter. And it has almonds, pistachios, maple syrup, and sea salt. It's really good. A little goes a long way. It's Big Spoon Roasters. And I think it's kind of hard to find their stuff. You can order it on their website. I'm going to put the link up to the bundle. Most of you have probably already heard about it or seen it, but sometimes new people will join me on these live streams, especially people that have not watched me before. Oh, good. Janet is on. The recipe we're making today is from Janet Ricker's. Is it Rickett? Ricker? Janet, tell me your last name. I've written it down so many times and now I can't remember if it's Rickett or Ricker. Lydia says, I've got the bundle from you on the first day. I couldn't wait for it to come out. Great. See, that's a smart person. She got it when it first came out. So anyway, if you're wanting a good thing to top your toast, and that's what I'm going to do when I do my sourdough bread class. I'm going to do a live stream where we talk about what to put on your sourdough bread when you toast it. I'll eat this later. It's really good. So let's talk about our topic today, which is, and you can see it back here on the side, is my cooker where I've been making travel soup. And it's really good. It's in there on keep warm. So I'm not going to get it out till the end. I'm going to put all the, Janet Rickey, sorry. Gosh, where is my mind? That's what happened. I was running late. I realized how many cooking demos I was going to do today, and I had to do all the little posters, the graphics, and then I had to load them into my camera, my live streaming app, and I was like, this is taking a lot longer than I thought it was going to take. So then I was like, how am I going to get ready and be ready to start talking at 9 o'clock? So I made this one at 9:30, and my next one is at 11 o'clock. So then I have a little time in between to get ready for the next one. Okay, so let's make our travel soup. And as I'm making it, I'm going to talk about some of the things that people deal with when traveling. And I have my own travel class out here too, because I'll give you a link if you want to get my travel class, because it's similar to Janet's, but it has a bunch of my Asian recipes in it, because no matter what, I'm always making things like sweet and sour tofu, or I had like a brown rice noodles or something in there. So I thought, oh, that might be a good addition. But you can get it. That's from my website. T.S. Gale says, good morning from Southern California. Looking forward to this episode. So, one thing I liked about Janet's plant-powered peddler, I like even the title, plant-powered peddler, that she really talks a lot about making things that are fresh. She's not eating canned food, which I like because that's not appealing to me when I'm out traveling. I don't want to eat I don't want to open up a can of, Amy's soup that doesn't taste like anything. They do have Amy's vegetarian soups that are vegan, but they're really high in sodium and they don't taste that good. And I've had them before. It's like, no, that's not very good. You can't always count on a microwave, can you? Because sometimes Janet says, I get to listen all day as we drive down to California. Oh my goodness. I don't know that you want to hear this, but I hope I do your good ebook justice. But you know, getting stuff that's not fresh is not good. And I like Janet's philosophy of get your food fresh and make it. And you can't always count on a microwave. That's what I was going to say. So these kind of cookers are really helpful. Like hers is a rice cooker, and I'll show you that a little bit later when we get out our food. But there's another one you can get, and you can't get this on Amazon. I looked this morning, and it's very similar to the rice cooker, which I did put on Amazon. And this is a cauldron, and it's electric too, and you can put lots of food in it, and it has a steamer basket. But the thing about this one is it collapses. So it turns into a very small thing that you could put in your suitcase, and it actually has an international plug, so you could use it overseas. And I saw this was I can't remember the name of the person. She was on Chef AJ. So I don't really have any link to this. I can show you the box, and you can look it up. You'd have to do a lot of searching because I didn't have time this morning. It's from Nat Home, HOME, and it's a collapsible silicone cauldron, and it works really good. It does boil stuff. It does steam things, and it's good. But this rice cooker, oh, excuse me, I'm losing my voice. It's been 8 days of nonstop talking. The rice cooker also boils because I had to play around with it a little bit. And if you put it on the rice setting, the rice cooker setting, the first thing it does is it starts coming to a boil. So you could put anything in there that you wanted to cook and boil, like noodles or whatever, because it does get really hot. And and it's fast. Like some of these portable things that you get, they look like they're going to be good, but then you start using them and it takes them a long time to get up to temperature. And the cauldron that I showed you, that takes a while to get up to temperature. This new rice cooker is a lot quicker. So here are the ingredients for the travel soup: mushrooms, carrots, onions, garlic, zucchini, and a little bit of, this is like a spice blend, like the 21 seasoning spice blend you can get at Trader Joe's or Costco. It's any spice blend you like. Just make sure it's not high sodium. Mine has a little bit, but not much. Or no, I think it's sodium free. But you can add, if you want to add a little salt, you can. And I'm using just a quarter of an onion. I use the other quarter to make the one that's already been made because it took longer than I thought. Because Janet said to put it on the soup setting, which I did, but then it didn't really cook it. It was about 45 minutes later, it was still not very well cooked, and it was still kind of on the raw side. So not raw, but undercooked. So I'm just going to put everything in this bowl here as I cut it. So then I canceled it, and I turned it to the rice cooker setting. I turned it on rice. And as soon as I did that, boy, it started bubbling and it started cooking a lot faster. So I'm going to tell you to cook it on the rice setting and not the soup setting at first. And then what I did was, after it cooked, then I turned it to the warm setting. So, however you want to do it. I think if you put it on the soup setting, it's going to take an hour. But if you do it on the rice setting, it's going to be a lot quicker, maybe, under an hour, 30 minutes or something. But play around with it. It also cooks rice. So it comes with a rice cup, and it makes two of these. But these are smaller than a cup. They're like Japanese sized cups, maybe smaller than that. So it really doesn't make a lot of rice, but it probably makes plenty for two people. So you can make white rice, brown rice. Janet says hers cooks the soup in 40 minutes. Well, after about 40 minutes, the soup was done, but not enough for my taste. It still needed a little bit more time. So that's why I switched it. So maybe Maybe if I had left it just for 5 more minutes, it would have been fine. But you can, if you get this, just test it out yourself. And I have a zucchini. It's partially cut because I didn't use all of it when I made the first batch. And I'm cutting them in kind of julienne strips and then small diced pieces, just because I don't want to put anything in this that takes a long time to cook. Because usually when you're doing something like this, you want your food. You don't want to wait for it to cook, right? You want to get it done and eat it. So if you have any questions along the way, just put it in the comments. I'm watching them. This is a carrot. I've already peeled it. And I think it's going to take about 2 pieces of carrot. In her recipe, everything is like a fourth of a cup. So here's the sample of a fourth of a cup. It's not very much because it's not a huge container, but it can handle about a carrot. Is plenty. It's not too much. And I really like the taste of the soup. I could taste the fresh vegetables. And it also has potatoes in it. And that's kind of a treat to make your own potato soup with potatoes in it when you're traveling. And then you can also spice it up differently. You could make it however you want. You could add curry flavor to it. You could add more of an Italian flavoring. You could put fennel in it. You could, whatever spices you carry. I have a friend, and then 3 mushrooms. I have a friend who, she carries a spice kit whenever she travels. And what she does is she has a whole little container. It's just a plastic container where she's gotten the little clear plastic containers that you get when you make things with beads, like in the Hobby Lobby. And she puts spices in all these little small plastic bead containers, and they're all in one container. So then she takes that with her when she goes traveling. So she has all the spices in one compact box, but they're in little tiny containers. So if you can do something like that, then you can have, Italian, Mediterranean, Asian, garlic, ginger, onion powder, cumin, Tex-Mex spices, chili powder. Hello, Sam. Hello, Diana. I see all of you on here. Glad to see you back. So carry your own little spice kit, but I think what Janet talks about is she calls it spice mix. Hey, honey, what you doing? There's nothing on the floor. She calls it spice mix. So I think, Janet, can you tell us what's in your spice mix? If you can type in the comments. So I'm thinking it's something like garlic, pepper, onion powder, cumin, coriander, chili powder. I don't know. Those are just things that off the top of my head I would think of. So I chopped up those cremini mushrooms. There's 3 of them. And I'm going to put those in. So you see I've got a whole bowl now of zucchini, mushrooms, onions. And then I'm going to chop up 1 garlic clove. I hope you're not eating onions or something off the floor, silly. So I'm just going to cut up, whoops. Oh, no, don't eat that garlic clove. Heaven forbid. Your breath would smell terrible for a month. I dropped the garlic clove. Okay, hello, Jill. Oh, she makes one up. She makes up her spice mix. So I'm just curious what she puts in it. But, anything you like, or you can get you guys have seen me with my organic no salt seasoning that you get at Costco, or they sell it at Trader Joe's, and I'm sure other places have them too. That's something pretty common. You can get just a spice blend. Gail says, for both cookers, can you discuss how many watts each one uses? Important if you're using a battery power source. Well, I don't know. This one says, yeah, I think you're going to have to look that up yourself because it's written in a foreign language. So I can't really see it. And then the other one, again, you can look at my Amazon link. When you go to the Amazon store, you don't have to buy it. You can look at the link, and the link will tell you, it shows you all the information you need to know about the cooker. And I'm sure the wattage is on there. I just can't go get the box right now. It's in the other room. If using a power bank source. I get my electric turned off when the wind blows hard to reduce fire danger. Okay, yeah, I don't really know. You'll have to just look. I'm sorry, I can't stop this and go run and get that right now. But yeah, here's a garlic clove. But I'm sure it says it on the box. And then I have my spice mix. I'm going to put about a teaspoon of that in here. What are you doing? And then we have the potato. And since I had messed with the potato this morning, I used half of a potato. It was kind of a medium-sized potato, so I didn't want to use all of it because I thought it might overwhelm. It would be too much, but looking back on it, I could have used the whole potato. Also, I got out my tube of tomato paste, and I added a squirt of tomato paste when I made it because I thought that would be a good addition, but you don't have to do that. That's just kind of, I have that handy, so I used it. And I'm going to cut my potatoes into kind of smallish cubes because I don't want them to take forever to cook because potatoes take the longest to cook. So I will just cut them in kind of, not too small, but not big chunks. And this is half of a russet potato. Is it a dump and go soup? Yeah, it is kind of a dump and go soup, Diana. There's nothing to it. Chat won't let me post the link for the rice cooker. It's the rice cooker is in my Amazon store. So if you go to Chef Julia Amazon store, just Google that. It will pop up and it's in the bundle idea list. So it's in there and you can find it there. Janet, if you have an Amazon store, they could also look up your name in the Amazon store. If you do, if not, you can find it in mine easily. Okay, so that's all the ingredients for the soup right here. You could put any vegetable you like. Yeah, Diana, Janet even said it's a dump and eat soup. Okay, so let's look at what happened when we put this in the soup, the rice cooker. And I'm going to bring it over here so you can see it closer. So it's not very big, you can see, and it has a lid. And you have to be really careful when you remove the lid if it's on rice cooker mode because it's really hot and it's steaming and there's a steam vent and you just don't want to open it up. They even give you, it comes with a little, like a suction lid, the knob for the lid that you can put on there, but I didn't put it on because I didn't really need it at the moment. And they caution you not to scrape it with metal utensils. So, I'm going to use my metal utensil, but I'm not going to scrape it. And I'll show you, let's see if I can plug in my external camera here so you can see a close-up of this. Should have done this earlier. Let's see if this pops up. Oops. Yeah, here it is. Got a lot of things going on here on my board. Okay. So just don't mind the mess and look at this. I've got my notebook out here. Can't really see it, but I'll put it right here. So you can see that the soup has all this, the vegetables, it's all cooked really nicely. It's like a soup you would make at home, but it's made in this real tiny little container. It's not tiny, but it's a lot smaller than what you would use at home. Get back on here. So it's pretty handy. And then, I don't know why can't click on stuff this morning. Okay, here we go. Okay, 200 watts is the wattage for this rice cooker. So then how are we going to eat this? Well, I have a little mug and, I'm sure when you're traveling, you have your own travel bowls and things. For example, I have a set of travel bowls that are collapsible. So if you're trying to go somewhere and you don't have room for a lot of bowls. Hi, Susan. Janet says it looks so good. So let's say that you have a suitcase or you just don't have room. You can get these collapsible bowls. And they're kind of nice because they don't take up a lot of space. So then you can, make a bowl where it was once just a very flat thing. So we could use that. But since I'm at home, I'll use a regular mug. And then if you're traveling, this is a rice cooker. But let's say that you had rice already, or this is rice that you buy frozen. So I'm going to put a little bit of this at the base of my soup, about, a third of a cup. So I like this kind of frozen brown rice. Oh, and yes, I'm gonna put this in here, Janet, and show people how they do it. So you can buy frozen brown rice. You can also buy shelf-stable brown rice. And shelf-stable brown rice is already cooked and ready to eat. So you can get that. And then I'm going to put the soup on top of that. And then you have a really good meal. And you can also, Janet said in her book, you can add beans. So this in here, this filled up my whole mug full of soup. And there's still a bunch left. So, it's got brown rice and it's got the delicious soup, and I bet it's really good. Delicious, and it kept it nice and hot. Whoops, try not to spill it all over the place. So I'm going to get this out. Carrie Power says, hi, Julia, Chef Julia. I've been enjoying all your videos. Thank you. I'm so happy. Okay, so I'm going to put the rest of the soup that was in here in this bowl so that I could refill it with what we made. And that way we can make some more. Okay, but see, there was still a lot in there. It was like, there's a whole other serving for somebody else. And so if you're hungry, you could have beans, you could have all kinds of other stuff. You could put the beans in with soup. You could put the beans in another bowl with some rice, and then you could put your soup on top of the beans and rice. There's just all kinds of things you can do. So how do you really make it? So we're going to put, hi, Jackie Ruths. We're going to put all these vegetables in our little pot. And then, everything flavors it. So it's got garlic and mushrooms and onions and all those things, they're aromatics. They're things that flavor food. It's also got the spice blend. And if we want to add a little bit of tomato paste, you can buy this in a tube. It's real easy to handle. And it gives a nice tomato flavor. We could at this time add a handful of, if you were a place where you had fresh herbs, you can have fresh herbs. Janet said it makes enough for both of us when I'm eating cooked. Okay, so, this makes a good portion for 2 people. And then we fill it with water, okay? So you can see this fills it up, and there's a line in here that goes up to 2.5 for rice, and that's the maximum fill line. So you don't want to fill it past the maximum fill line. And that's why it makes so much, because, it's on the maximum fill. And I'm going to stir it around since I put that tomato paste in there. And then we could put, we could flavor it with lots of other things, but I like it, it tasted good with my spice blend. And Janet said, even after cycling all day. That's great, Janet. So there it is. And then all we do is we stick it in this rice cooker and we put the lid on it. Where'd I put the lid? It's around here somewhere. Here it is. And the lid fits only one way, and then it locks into place. And you have to kind of press down on it to get it to lock. It doesn't just do it instantly. And I'm going to plug it in and put it on the rice setting because I want it to come to a boil, and then I'll turn it down. So I think it just varies, depends on, and you have to press it down until the light will eventually be solid. And when the light is solid, it means it's cooking. So it's already solid and it's cooking. And so there you go. We have this delicious ocean breeze. Hi, Jill. Delight to watch. Well, thank you. I like the flavor of the broth. And I could see where this would be really good after a long day of activity because, I think Janet's philosophy, I like it a lot because what she's saying is her best friend is the grocery store. She doesn't carry, because she's on a bicycle, she doesn't carry a year's worth of food with her. Like, you could think of how much room it would take up if you carried a bunch of food, you know, vegetables, fruit, rice, cans of beans. You can't carry all that stuff when you're on a bicycle. So you have to rely on grocery stores. So when she travels, she looks ahead. She just doesn't leave it to chance. She says she knows ahead of time if there's going to be if there's going to be a grocery store when she's on her bicycle route. And she's even, I watched her on somebody's show the other day, and she said that, if when she's going, she calls the stores along her route to ask them if they're going to be open, what days they're open, because she had experiences where there was a store on the map, but then when she went to the store, it was closed. It wasn't there anymore, didn't exist, whatever. So that's a good thing to do, because if you're relying on the grocery store to get fresh food and there's no grocery store, then you're kind of in a bad situation. You just end up eating your dry bean bars or Lara bars or packages of nuts or whatever you take. So it can be kind of tricky when you're on a trip and you're not sure what's going to be there. I ran into issues like that. I walked the Camino de Santiago last year from Portugal to Spain with 3 other people, and we didn't know what we were going to get for food. We were just kind of like, we'd stop along the way, and in Spain and Portugal, there were tapas bars, or little restaurants everywhere, little cafes that were kind of like bars with small plates, and they were everywhere. And so they weren't worried. My other 3 friends weren't too worried about it because, they're not plant-based. They eat everything. So we would stop at these places, and most of them had something I could eat. Like they would have salad, and sometimes that would be about it. Other times I would just be desperate to eat something, and I would eat the fried potatoes, the papas bravas. Sometimes they would have chickpea hummus, not often. They always had really good sourdough bread. And sometimes they would have paella, veggie paella, vegetable paella, and a few other dishes. And a few made me a special dish, like a stir-fried vegetable dish. If they had something similar to that on the menu that had like vegetables with fish or meat, then I would ask them if they could just give me a plate of vegetables and rice. And I got that several times. But the thing about it is, my group of people, they didn't want to stop again for dinner. And we would stop about 2 or 3 in the afternoon after we'd walked since 8 or 9 in the morning. And we would have our main meal at 2 or 3 in the afternoon. And then we would arrive at our destination maybe 3 or 4 hours later. And they didn't want to eat again, like a meal. So we would go to a grocery store. And my friends like to get cheese and crackers and salami or snack foods, and they had a bunch of that kind of stuff. And so I would be walking around the grocery stores looking for something, and I could always find vegetables, fresh vegetables, and fresh fruit. But sometimes that would be about it, or little jars of chickpeas. And so somebody had written in a vegan blog that when they walked the Camino de Santiago, they would make chickpea sandwiches, but the only thing they could do is take a can of chickpeas and mash up the chickpeas and put them on bread. And that didn't sound very appetizing after walking all day. So that got to be a bit of a challenge. And I didn't have any cooking equipment with me at all. So, because we were walking, and we had suitcases that were delivered from hotel to hotel that we didn't have with us during the day, but we would have them once we arrived. But we were traveling really light, and there was not a lot of room in my suitcase to carry cooking equipment. So it was very challenging. Okay, so I can hear the rice cooker like doing its thing. So I think it's going to come to a boil, and it's going to get that cooking really well. So, as far as other ideas about travel, I think you have to first know where you're going to go and how you're going to get there. If you're going by car, you can carry all kinds of stuff. You can carry whatever equipment you want. You can bring your little mini rice cooker, soup maker, or you can bring a little mini skillet. I have also have like a little electric skillet. I think I loaned it to one of my kids because I didn't see it when I went into my storage room. But I used to have a little mini electric skillet, and that works good for making like a little quick stir fry. Or you can cook my sweet and sour tofu, and I had a bunch of stuff uh, in my travel. In my own travel class, I made things like Asian peanut noodles with broccoli using the like a microwave. And so like you can always bring a container and cook in the microwave in a hotel room. That's pretty easy. And this is one of those, microwave containers, or you can use a plastic one if you don't mind, or just use a whatever you have that you use to cook in the microwave. But if you don't like cooking in the microwave, that's where these kind of electric things come in really handy, or little mini skillets. And you can take those things with you. You can just make it a point to check a suitcase or put it in your carry-on if you have room for it. Mine is always full of shoes and clothes and stuff I need, so I would have to check a bag and put your minimal cooking stuff in there. For example, what else could you bring along? Like the collapsible bowls, bring a couple of those. You can get everything from collapsible bowls to collapsible measuring cups. They don't take up that much room compared to a set of measuring cups. If each measuring cup was this big, it would take up a lot more room than this. This is small. And in my estimation, you wouldn't need to bring uh, all of them. You could just bring a half cup. Just bring one and use it for everything. Yeah, an instant pot. I used to have a mini instant pot. It was like a 3-quart instant pot. And I sold it to somebody because I never used it because I didn't ever bring it to travel. I kind of like that better than an instant pot. But an instant pot can saute and boil and slow cook and pressure cook. It can do everything. So instant pots are handy. And then lots of little containers to keep your sauces in. Georgia says, I was so happy to see this morning. Yeah, so you can get anything. You can get all these little stasher bags that they're not plastic, but you can store things in. They're not disposable, so you're not creating more trash for the environment. Even have a set of measuring spoons. And this is all the measuring spoons, but they're kind of all, in Terry says, I have almost all those items and use them so often. That's good, Terry. Terry took that class from me. So these like really good telescoping uh, tablespoon or spoon kit. Oh, and these items are all in, I have an Amazon store listing. It's an idea list and it's called travel on my Amazon store because when I taught this class, I put all this stuff in there. So you can look there too. And then I have this little mini cutting board because you don't want to take a giant cutting board when you're traveling. Then I ordered a couple of sets of silverware so I wouldn't have to use disposable silverware. And it's a full, metal fork, knife, and spoon, and it comes in its own carrying case. So each person can have this case of utensils. And that way you can just wash them and reuse them, and you don't have a million pieces of plastic polluting the environment. So those are just a few of the things I have in my little travel bag. I have some little mini spatula and little tongs, so it just depends. If you're traveling by car, you can take a bunch of this stuff. And what I would do is I would put it in a box, some kind of portable container, and just have it ready to go. Whenever I go, I would take that and then decide which cooking pots you're going to take with you, whether it's a little mini instant pot or this rice cooker, or if you can get the cauldron. Maybe you only have room for this much and you could use this to make your oatmeal. You could use it to make steel cut oats. You can use it to make anything. But I think I liked Janet's attitude, which was no excuses. And that's what was really good. Oh, my rice is kind of plumped up a little bit, and now it's in there with all the vegetables. So good. Gail says, I've seen some people make their complete meal, then dehydrate it and put the pieces into portion bags just to add boiled water. to reconstitute. Not sure it would work for this. Yeah, I think, you reconstitute it by pouring boiling water over it or putting it in boiling water. So most people who do that are camping and they have some way to boil water, like a little pot that they can put over a flame, or a little, most people would not chance that and maybe have a little mini butane burner that they could set up and boil their water and put it over their dehydrated food. So that's a whole other camping thing. And there's a woman, her name is Ruth Morley, and she does a whole bunch of stuff on hiking. I think she's called the plant-based hiking or vegan hiker, something like that. But her, hiking is in her title, and she does dehydrate tons of food, and that's all she brings because she goes on long distance hikes with a backpack, and she only has her backpack, and so she has all these pre-prepared meals dehydrated. However, the process of dehydrating all that food takes a long time. That's something that you better have a hobby and do it. Okay, I bet the rice cooker is a lot lighter than the Instant Pot. Oh yeah, I mean it's a lot smaller too. It's good for like one person. I'm going to see how this is progressing real quick. I don't really see much activity, so I'm going to just leave it alone. And it hasn't been that long, so we'll just let it go. And just, if you get that, just play around with it. Use the rice setting, that will get it going faster. Once it's going, if you think it's going too fast, then you can cancel it and hit the soup setting. It works fine. It's just like cooking something on the stove. You just have to kind of, adjust it to work. Pam says, my daughter dehydrated meals and then did the PCT. She just boiled water and added it to the package. Yeah, so that's what I'm talking about. People on the Pacific Coast Trail, what they do is, they have some kind of butane stove type of thing that's not too heavy that they can boil water in and eat their meals, because you don't want to walk a long distance with a bunch of food with you. But I'm talking more about if you're traveling and you're going places where you can stop and get groceries and you can make your own food. Yeah, then you can cook whatever you want in your hotel room. A lot of times we go to places that are in big cities. I travel with my husband, and there's a Whole Foods or there's a good grocery store right in the town when we get our rental car and we drive into the town. And I always tell him, let's stop at the Whole Foods, because that's what I get all my breakfast food. Especially I get a bunch of fresh fruit for snacks. I'll bring my own oatmeal in my suitcase already pre-packaged in a bowl, a lightweight bowl. And then I'll get fresh fruit and some almond milk or whatever I like and put it in the refrigerator in the hotel room. So every morning I'll make some form of oatmeal, either hot or cold, and eat fruit. And that works out well for me. And for lunch, I kind of know when the places we're going, what's available, because we've been there before. So I will go to restaurants that have salads, and I'll eat pretty well, and I don't have to cook all my food in the hotel room. But if I were to go somewhere where there weren't places for me to get to easily that had anything I could eat, I would definitely bring my little electric skillet or this pot or something, just to be able to have the availability to make food, because I could pack my cutting board, a knife, a little food cooker in a suitcase, and I could go buy a few things in a grocery store. I could get, some noodles, some brown rice noodles, black rice noodles, cans of beans. I even have a little portable can opener in here. Janet says, I will be packing food for my Southwest Coastal Path in May. Okay, so Janet, are you packing dehydrated food? So I have this tiny little can opener that works really well. And so I could bring that along. Don't even have to have a full-size can opener if you needed to get some beans. And a lot of beans now, or a lot of things, have the self-opening tops. So you could go to the store, you could get noodles, you could get beans, you could get vegetables, and you don't have to eat badly. You can you can make things fresh. And that, of course, that's my preference, is always to make things that are fresh. And I don't want, even though it's more convenient to buy something packaged, it doesn't taste very good to me. And all those packaged meals like Amy's Dinners and frozen Plant Pure Nation, or I'm trying to think, Forks Over Knives. So some companies have come out with frozen dinners. Has anyone ever eaten those? I don't think they're very good. One thing I noticed about them is they're super expensive. So, I've gotten them before and spent like $7 for this tiny. I'm going to put the link to my travel class too if you're interested in that. I think it's $20. It's very cheap. And it has like all of the stuff that I made, all my recipes and tips about how I travel, which is different from someone like Janet who bicycles. So if you want my travel class, I think it's from 2022, and it's pretty lengthy. It's got a lot of stuff in it. 2021, what to order in restaurants, what to take on airlines, how to handle family and friends. There's recipes for pasta sauce, Thai green curry, Asian noodles, chili made in a hotel room. There's all kinds of recipes in here. And what was funny is somebody once told me that they used my travel class recipes to cook their dinner at night because they were so simple and they were manageable. So Janet says she's going to bring dehydrated wraps and tortillas. It's a 300-mile hike. Okay, yeah, I see. So yeah, she's going to bring the dehydrated wraps and tortillas, and those are in the bundle. Raw Food Romance. Melissa Maris has a book, and I can't remember what the name of her new book is in the bundle, but she has I wrote it down somewhere yesterday. Chef AJ was talking about it. I don't remember now, but in her raw selection of books, she has a book about the wraps. Let's see. Elizabeth says Forks Over Knives frozen dinner was way too spicy and a lot of food, but expensive. Yeah, that's what when I had one of their foods, I didn't think it was that good, but it was really expensive. Let's see, when I worked, I used a little casserole thing that plugged in under my desk, and after a couple hours, it heated up and cooked food, but I forget what it was called. Yeah, I've seen those before. If you have time and you're not in a hurry, you can get those things that plug in. But for, something where you want your dinner within, let's say, 45 minutes, this is good. Okay, so I'm going to see where it's at. I'm going to open it and see what it's doing in there. And it's cooking pretty well. Okay. It's not done, but I can smell it, and it's cooking really nicely on the rice setting. So that, for me, that's what I am using, and it still has maybe another 10 or 15 minutes left. So, there you go. That's the travel soup. And you could also make it, let's say you just had your Instant Pot, a little mini Instant Pot. You can make it in that too. So you could make it on the Instant Pot setting, the pressure setting. Things like that don't take very long. I don't know exactly how long it would take in a 3-quart Instant Pot. I'd have to play around with that. I don't think I have a recipe like that in my in my thing. I have a pasta with marinara sauce though. Chickpea. Oh, here's one. I had a chickpea sandwich spread using mashed up chickpeas and a little mustard and jalapeno peppers and stuff. Okay. Barbara says, I have a Hot Logic electric lunchbox that works good. Great. Karen says, I make oatmeal bags for breakfast. Oat milk powder, freeze-dried fruit nuts, sweetener. If you want, add hot water and enjoy. That's a good idea. I've seen oat milk powder. In fact, on the cruise, they used it to make the Dandy Blend Frappuccinos. So they would take the Dandy Blend, this decaffeinated coffee mixture, and add oat milk powder, water, date syrup, or whatever, and they would blend it up, and it was really good. Okay, so we made our soup, and Janet's been on giving us different hints. Janet, do you have any last minute hints that you could tell us in the comments before I sign off and get ready for my 11 o'clock class on the Korean noodles, which has a lot of steps. I'm drinking my Dandy Blend. Come here, Toshi, come here. Want a piece of toast? I'll get Toshi over here to say hi. Come here, bud. Look. He's suspicious. He's like, I don't know, Mom. You're offering me food. You're standing in front of that thing talking. Come here. Come on. Okay. See, he's sitting real nicely. Come say hi. Come on over here. Okay. Don't put your feet on the cutting board, though. Good morning from Toshi. Yeah, my other boxers, he hasn't done it yet, but a lot of them in the past have gotten up on the counter and you know, they can counter surf. It's kind of bad. Okay, the name of here, let me get the box. It won't just take me a second. Oh no. Okay. And it is in the Amazon store. Oh, I better check to make sure my sound is on. All right. Hold on. Testing 1, 2, 3. Okay, I'm still on. Okay. Here's the box, and it's just called T-Log Mini Rice Cooker, 200 watts. And they have it. It comes in gray or green. I got gray. And the other things I put in the Amazon store, Kim said, I just ordered the glass noodles. Great. So she can make the noodle salad. He's camera shy. Yeah, he kind of is a little bit. He's silly. I've had other dogs that would, get up there and look, but he is a little shy. Well, I hope you make the travel soup and you don't have to be traveling to make the soup. If you wanted to make the soup that we made this morning, just use Janet's recipe out of the Plant Powered Traveler. Her recipe is in there. It has all the things that were in this one. And it's in your bundle if you bought the bundle. Um, yeah, I'm sorry, Peachy Row. It's not decaf coffee. It's herbal and good ingredients. Taste better than coffee. Yeah, she's right. The ingredients, it tastes kind of like coffee. The real ingredients in Dandy Blend are, let's see if I can find them, roasted barley extracts, roasted rye extracts, roasted chicory root extracts, and roasted dandelion root extracts. So apparently it's a lot of grain and root extracts. It's not decaffeinated coffee. So thanks for the clarification. And it tastes good. It looks great. I made the zucchini soup last night. It's for dinner tonight. Good. Okay. Well, Gail says great class and thank you. And Janet, yeah, Janet was really helpful. This was her ebook from the bundle. And if you haven't gotten the bundle yet, get it from her, get it from me, get it from whoever you want to get it from. I noticed, this is funny, I noticed that Tammy Kramer posted that she was going live at noon my time, and I'll be doing a demo at 11, so she'll probably be on when I'm still on. And she's making a couple of my recipes, the mung bean omelets and the oat sausages and some other stuff. But I looked at that and I said, all right, she's making something out of my book. So I thought that was kind of cool. So anyway, I'll see you guys at 11 Central Time. That's about 45 minutes. That gives me time to clean up this mess and get ready for the next one. And that one is pretty involved. I've been working on that this morning. That's kind of what got me behind because I had to do a lot of prep work. So thanks, everybody. And let me do this link one more time in case you missed it for the bundle. It's going to end on Monday. So if you don't get it, it won't be there later. And no matter how many times I've gone live during bundle week. It's really funny, but the next week after it's over, I'll start getting these messages from people and they'll say, "Oh, I forgot that Monday was the last day, so can I still get it? It's only Tuesday." And it's like, no, once it's done, it's done. You can't ever get it again. So, you know, share it with your friends, get it for yourself, and it's a good value. It's over $5,500 worth of content for $49, and it's real good quality content. So thanks. Kim says thank you. See you on your next live. We're making your mung bean omelet for breakfast here. Oh, good. I'm glad you like that. I like that too. I think I'm making that tomorrow. All right, everybody. I will see you later. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.